to sell farm, construction, or fleet equipment, Purple Wave Auction takes the hassle out of selling heavy equipment. Our experienced auction professionals make the entire process easy, and will market each asset not just to our enormous equipment buying community, but specifically to the right bidders who are eager to purchase your specific assets. We'll handle the paperwork and payments so you can get back to running your business. Join the growing list of happy sellers who don't just sell but succeed with Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
The nation's premier conference.
The Tide jumping all over the field in celebration.
Now even better.
15, 10, 5.
This is the SEC.
Oh, Bama!
Join us each week now through August 22nd as the SEC Radio Network previews the 2024 football season with a battle for Atlanta. Only on your home for SEC football.
Catch the Battle for Atlanta SEC preview this Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. right here on The Ref.
My dad, he's a double amputee, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. To me, a hero is someone who fights for our country and freedom. My dad is a hero. Homes for Our Troops built this house, and my dad can get through the wide doorways. He can reach anything.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post-9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Discover a worry-free roofing experience with Kennedy Roofing, where you'll have a dedicated team with over 50 years of industry knowledge behind you. Tyler McComas here, proudly representing Kennedy Roofing, your go-to family-owned roofing experts located in the heart of OKC. Licensed and bonded in the state, they are committed to delivering top-tier service for projects large or small. Explore newroofok.com or call 405-704-3377 to secure your inspection today. Kennedy Roofing, where dedication to excellence starts and ends with their customers.
Hi, this is Lisa Talley, broker and owner of Aria Real Estate Group. Aria Real Estate Group is Norman's premier full-service commercial and residential real estate brokerage and leasing and management firm. With our team of real estate agents, specialized property managers, and in-house maintenance team, Aria is here for you in every capacity. Whether you're a seller, a buyer, an investor, or a renter, we can help. Please explore our website at ariagroupok.com. Aria Real Estate Group, the gold standard of real estate.
Hey Sooner fans, Caleb Kelly here for Mitchell's Jewelry. Choosing wedding bands is an important purchase, and when it was time, I was happy to find the team at Mitchell's Jewelry made it so easy. I had a great experience and was so glad to see their tremendous selection. They really listened to me, and I couldn't be happier with my choices. If you're looking for a jewelry store with top quality selection, competitive pricing, and the best customer service, go see the team at Mitchell's Jewelry. Check them out on your socials or visit them at 2201 West Main Street in Norman. Boomer Sooner.
The Ref Radio Sports Network is powered statewide by the insurance adjusters at Brown O'Haver. Fire, wind, theft, or tornado, we can help. Call 405-735-5510. Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings Studios, it's time to get locked in to the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000. Text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
I gotta say, I thought that I would be walking into an absolute hornet's nest on the text line at 2 p.m. today, but no, not really the case. Everyone seems pretty calm, cool, and collected after what was said about 20 minutes ago on this here radio station. I didn't think it was going to go over too well, Parker Thune, when Brandon Drum kind of, I don't think it was his official prediction or anything, but he kind of hinted that maybe he's thinking Texas for Fasusi. I did not think that would go over too well in the text line, and I saw K-Dub comment on it and maybe someone else, but I relatively calm for what was said 20 minutes ago.
Well, I think it's reflective of two realities. One being that at no point has there been an overwhelming amount of confidence that OU would land Fasusi. There has been some optimism, and there has been, like, especially lately, I think there's been a resurgent feeling of optimism in the Fasusi recruitment. But I think most, especially if you've been listening to the right people, have been operating with the knowledge that Texas kind of has the ace in their back pocket if they need to pull it out, because they've been getting ready to put an enormous sum of NIL money in front of Michael Fasusi for some time now. And while, yes, there is an acknowledgement of that reality from the fan base, I think there's also an understanding that OU's offensive line class in the 2025 cycle, Tyler, doesn't ride or die with Michael Fasusi, because you still have Andrew Babalola out there uncommitted that Oklahoma can really make a hard push for and would have a good shot to land if Fasusi's recruitment doesn't go their way.
Yeah, so we'll get more into that. Scrimmage today coming up at 5 p.m., the big headlines so far this week during training camp. So I'm out and about today in Norman, Young Family Athletic Center, which allows me the opportunity, Parker Thune. And from my computer, I can see the text line, but also from my computer, I can see you as well back in studio, because I'm live on KREF Sports right now watching the YouTube stream, which means I am monitoring what Gunny is saying in the comments right now. And the first comment that is on the YouTube stream, again, KREF Sports, what's with the cheesy headshot? Did Machine Gun transfer? So if you would like to take control of the text line today, and I take control of what's going on in the YouTube comments today, I think we can kind of divide and conquer on the steal on a Friday.
I'm all for it. Gunny also texted us on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line, 405-651-3439. He says, fellas, I've downed a half gallon of chocolate milk. Feeling spry, flying high. It must be close to football time in Oklahoma. I tell you, Tyler, I have never partaken of the devil's lettuce, but if I did, I feel like that's the type of stoned that I would be. I wouldn't have the munchies. I'd just be drinking a ridiculous amount of chocolate milk.
It probably needs to happen station-wide. OU wins its next national championship. We all need to be on site with Gunny and maybe partake and do a post-game show. I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen, right? It could even be a lot of fun. No, Fasusi, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, that is in 12 days, and a lot can still happen with that. I don't think anyone is conceding that Texas is one out on this one. There's still a lot that can happen here over the course of the next week and a half. But a big decision coming up in 12 days for both Oklahoma and Texas clash. You're right. Like, OU, I think, needs this win perception-wise. I mean, if you even want to say perception-wise, OU does need this win. But Texas needs it for their class a little bit more, just because, like we're saying, OU's offensive line class right now is solid. It can go from solid to really good if you get Fasusi. But if you don't get Fasusi, what's the confidence level? Because he's not the only offensive lineman on the board. He's the highest-ranked offensive lineman on the board. Yeah. But what's the confidence level that they could beat out Michigan for a guy like Andrew Babalola?
Again, I think confidence probably isn't the right word. There is optimism that Oklahoma could beat out Michigan for Andrew Babalola, especially with Michigan's sign-stealing scandal back in the news cycle in recent days. And look, Tyler, I've made this comment before, but the longer a recruitment like this drags out, the more the easiest choice makes sense for a kid that's in Babalola's shoes. And the easiest choice among his top three right now is Oklahoma. It's geographically closest. It offers the most stability and reliability in terms of where you know this program is and is headed. And so if this recruitment lasted till September or October, I think as time passes, your optimism ought to begin to grow. Obviously, follow the intel. But I think if I had to take a guess as to what the tea leaves would indicate come September if Babalola was still uncommitted, I'd be willing to wager that at that point there would be a significantly greater amount of confidence on the Oklahoma side about where he ends up committing.
Yeah. 405-651-3439. Keep the text coming. And KREF Sports live on YouTube. Subscribe there and hop in the comments as well. Gunny and Jason Friend have already started the comments here on YouTube Live. It's pretty entertaining. And I've thrown out a few questions in the chat as well, so you can kind of interact with that and also interact with what we're talking about on the show today. As far as camp, you know, there is a lot of camp buzz, and we'll hear certainly a lot more of it after the scrimmage today at 5 o'clock. The biggest moment of training camp, I'm sure, coming today. That'll be fascinating to kind of hear what comes out of that. But in terms of buzz, and heard you guys talking about it last hour, you know, sometimes a true freshman comes in and, man, there's that early spring buzz, right? Like, this guy looks the part, but as the install gets deeper and deeper and deeper, maybe they struggle a little bit more and more and more, you know, mentally with how things are going. And they get through a summer and we get into training camp, and a guy that you heard early on in his career in spring, maybe that buzz doesn't continue in training camp. Doesn't sound like that's the case for Michael Hawkins. It sounds like the buzz was absolutely there in the spring. The buzz was absolutely there coming out of the summer with how he looked physically. And sounds like Parker Thune that Michael Hawkins looks exactly how he looked in the spring, which is, yes, there may be some freshman moments, but this kid is capable of some very, very high-level plays.
And where are the texters who last August were saying, Michael Hawkins he's never going to play at OU? I've watched him in high school. He's garbage. He'll get passed over. He'll hit the transfer portal. It'll go Jackson Arnold to Kevin Sperry at OU. Those people have been conspicuously silent these last few months as Hawkins has torn it up both in spring practice and now in fall camp at Oklahoma. And from everything I've heard, Tyler, from everything I've been told, really from the get-go, since his first practice as an Oklahoma Sooner, he looks the way that a QB2 should look and then some. And there is plenty of belief that when his time comes, whenever that may be, whenever his time comes to ascend to the starting role at the University of Oklahoma, he is going to be a one-man movie.
Yeah, I mean, the thought on him and Kevin Sperry, which this is totally unfair to Kevin Sperry, just like it was unfair to Michael Hawkins a year ago. It's kind of flipped, right? Well, yeah, that's great that they get Hawkins, but he'll be holding the clipboard for Jackson Arnold, and then, he's going to need to make a decision when Kevin Sperry is the next quarterback after Jackson Arnold. Now it's, well, how do we get Michael Hawkins involved in the offense? It's not just that he's next after Jackson Arnold. There have been serious conversations going on the text line and even with us this offseason of, all right, well, Jackson Arnold's really athletic. We saw that in high school. We saw that even last year. But Michael Hawkins looks like he's a special athlete. Can they and how will they get him involved? And I don't think that chance is 0% that we see him involved in the offense this year. It's just pretty incredible how things have changed perception-wise within the fan base in a year's time.
Can I offer a warm take?
I gave you about a warm take a week ago, so yeah, go ahead.
I give you my warm take of the day. I do not think Michael Hawkins redshirts in 2024.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Now, I think you could be right in more than one way. Obviously, you would get Jackson Arnold back for 2025 so you don't feel the pressure of getting Michael Hawkins as much game experience as possible, but I would think that he's going to have an opportunity in the Temple game to get snaps, the Houston game to get snaps, the Tulane game to get snaps, the Maine game to get snaps. There's 4, and then maybe one of your SEC games gets out of hand. But I'm guessing what you're saying is that, yes, he could play in those 4, but he's going to be involved somewhat within the offense. That's obviously going to get him in the game as well.
Correct. I think much the same way that you saw Jackson Arnold for a snap here, a snap there, early in the season until the decision was made that, hey, we're gonna do what we can to preserve his red shirt. Ultimately, that ended up being no longer feasible when Dylan Gabriel went down at halftime of the BYU game. But much the same way you saw Jackson Arnold taking situational snaps at quarterback in relief of Dylan Gabriel, and you rewind to 2021, much the same way that you saw Caleb Williams taking situational snaps early in that season before usurping Spencer Rattler as the starter. I do think this Oklahoma coaching staff is going to find ways to incorporate Michael Hawkins' skill set into their game plan, even if only for a play or two on a pretty regular basis.
Yeah. You want to hear some season predictions going on right now on the YouTube chat?
Let's hear them.
Here's an 11-4. Didn't that just sound weird to say out loud for
11-4 sounds bizarre.
I mean, it's a different era of the sport right now, but it's like 11-4. Is this like an NFL? What's going on here? Perfect at home, pretty good start. Loss at Ole Miss and LSU, and lose SEC championship game to Georgia. Make the college football playoff and win first round, then lose. Overall, great season.
That's a very specific prediction. I like it.
Yeah, no, I like this specific prediction there. 11-win season and a berth in the SEC championship game, and you win your first game in the playoff. Would you advise OU fans to take that deal if it was on the table right now?
Yes, I would. Because at that point, I think you can chalk that up as a success. I think you can say not only did you meet expectations in year one in the SEC, but you exceeded them. And then at that point, Tyler, I think you're making a lot of waves nationally with the voices and the pundits and the outlets that have historically been a little bit more skeptical of OU. But I think what a season like that would do is it would validate your status as a contender in the SEC, and it would set you up to be one of the preseason darlings in 2025 and a team that most, if not all, are talking up as a likely college football playoff team once again.
Jason Friend says we might lose one or two, but I think we're going to shock the world. Gunny says we're going to win the whole damn thing with a 52-12 drumming of misery on November 9th. He's got a 40-point win in Columbia on November 9th. Come on, Gunny. Yeah, here we go. I like this a lot. It a lot.
Here's a text from a 405 listener. I told the buddy of mine about Rattler that if he struggles like he did the first year and Williams gets put in the game, that he would never see the field again. And I feel that way about Jackson. If he starts struggling and Hawkins gets on the field, he'll never see the field again.
That's where we're already at?
Apparently so. It is
Former
August 9th.
Can't get any love.
August 9th. Still 3 weeks out from the opener. And we're already here.
Guy to SEC Media Day and everything, along with 2 preseason All-SEC first-teamers who have been here a while. I don't think that Jackson Arnold's entering the season with some short leash. I think it's definitely his offense.
But to be fair, ESPN voted Spencer Rattler the number 1 player in college football. And then 6 games later, he was benched. So anything can happen, but I don't necessarily – because, look, I was the president of the Caleb Williams Club going into that 2021 season. How everything unfolded was a shock, least of all, to me. And I have been the president of the Michael Hawkins Club for a long, long time. But I'm not quite there with Hawkins yet. Mostly because I don't think Arnold has the issues between the ears that Rattler did.
405-651-3439 is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. We'll get more from the text line. OU training camp. Is defensive back the strongest position group in 2025? Olthune's on record for what he thinks, if that's fact or fiction. That and more right here on The Ref for the home of Sooner fans.
Through the dead of winter, to the dawn of spring, through the dog days of summer, and the kickoff of fall, no one covers Sooner football like we do. The Ref is SEC ready. Are you?
The Showplace Theater at Riverwind is your best bet.
And with some of the best acts around, like Goo Goo Dolls, September 5th. Penn and Teller, September 6th. Cole Swindell, September 20th. And Jamie Johnson, September 26th.
Riverwind, the Metro's best casino experience.
Exciting changes are coming to Norman Regional Hospital. July 28th marks the opening of our newly expanded hospital. Our beautiful new space offers a range of inpatient and outpatient services, making your care accessible and convenient. As part of our expansion, the Porter Emergency Room will close and transition to our new facility, ensuring seamless, superior care. To discover the future of healthcare at Norman Regional Hospital, visit normanregional.com. Norman Regional, patient-centered, leading-edge care.
Heyday Family Entertainment Center in Norman is a great place for exciting group events with 2 floors of fabulous fun. Bowling, mini golf, laser tag, arcade games, ropes course, and more. Plus 2 fully stocked bars and a delicious full-service food menu. Heyday in Norman is perfect for groups of up to 1,000 people. You'll be amazed at everything Heyday has to offer. Call Connie for a free tour at 405-310-3500 or visit heydayfun.com. Let's meet at Heyday.
Visit Norman encourages you to shop local in Norman this summer. Visit Cayman's on Main Street, your one-stop shopping for men's and women's clothing, accessories, designer jewelry, cosmetics, and home decor. Featuring Johnny O, Rag & Bone, John Hardy, and so much more, it's at Cayman's on Main Street. For fresh, delicious Italian dining, visit Gabarino's Homestyle Italian. For lunch, dinner, or takeout, you are guaranteed to get amazing meals from scratch, family recipes at Gabarino's. And hit the driving range or just play around at the Westwood Golf Course. It's easy to book a tee time online, pick up a bucket of balls, or enjoy the delicious turn grill at Westwood Golf Course. When you shop local, you are supporting businesses that give back to community events, schools, sports, and local nonprofits. However you enjoy summer in Norman, remember to eat, shop, and play local.
The Sooners are SEC ready, and so is Balfour of Norman. Are you? Shop our selection of tees, polos, and hats that have the SEC logo on them. And even my new book, Put the Ponies in the Barn. Locally owned for more than 45 years, Balfour of Norman on Campus Corner is OU fans' go-to shop for Sooner gear. Not only will you find all the newest t-shirt designs, but also great polos, women's fashion tops, shorts, and even things for the youngest Sooner fan, starting at newborn and going through youth sizes. When it comes to hats, Balfour probably has the largest selection anywhere. They also have everything you need for tailgating and watch parties, from drinkware and serving pieces to barbecue tools and accessories. Make sure you have plenty of OU paper plates and napkins on hand, too. If it says OU, you will probably find it at Balfour. Come see us on the corner for all the newest gear or shop online at crimsonproud.com, where you will find everything Sooner.
This is Peggy Doviak, and I opened DM Wealth Management because of a horrible experience that my mother had with a stockbroker. I wanted to give people an alternative, a place they could go to understand their money, to know why investment decisions were made the way they were, and to create a financial plan that would help them meet their goals. Most of all, I wanted to help them plan their prosperity. Call me at 405-329-8884 or dmwealth.com.
Locked in with McComas and Thune, live on the ref. We are the home of Sooner fans. Tyler McComas, Parker Thune. I'm at the Young Family Athletics Center today, right here in Norman, where there is a new member special going on, $20 a month. They also have $5 day passes, basketball, volleyball, so many cool tournaments and events throughout the year as well. 122,000 square foot facility built on 12-acre site. Just on the north side of Norman here, or the University North Park area, and it's awesome. Really, really cool. I've been telling you guys all summer about the Young Family Athletic Center. Come check it out for yourself. You can do so for just $20 a month for that new member special, $5 day passes as well right here at the Young Family Athletic Center. Is the defensive back, is that the best position group for OU in the 2025 class? It's pretty good. Omarion Robinson and Marcus Wimberly, two of the best from the state of Arkansas. Cortland Guillory, Malik Hawkins, really nice players as well. But Parker Thune says fiction. It is not the best position group for OU in the 2025 class. It's good, and it may be the second best, but it's the wide receiver core headlined by Cortez Mills, the number 69 overall player in the nation. And I got to say, even though I do like the defensive backs class once again this year, and Brennan Hall continues on like his 3-year heater here at OU, headlined by Cortez Mills and what they got at wide receiver, yeah, I would say the wide receiver is today, and I think will be on signing day, the best position group in this class.
And you know what's pretty remarkable, Tyler, and speaks to how good of a job Emmett Jones has done and how much sway he has on the recruiting trail is a year ago at this time, Isaiah Mosey, remember him?
Yes.
He was an
OU
OU
I saw
lock.
this today.
He was an OU lock a year ago. Today, he flipped from Oregon to Nebraska, and there's not a single Sooner fan that cares at all about that news. Even though, like I said, a year ago, everyone was under the impression that Isaiah Mosey was going to be following in his dad's footsteps and committing to the University of Oklahoma. Emmett Jones has 5 receiver commits in this 2025 cycle. None of them are named Isaiah Mosey, and all 5 of them are more than good enough that no Oklahoma fan right now is sitting at home with their head in their hands going, man, if only we could trade one of those guys for Isaiah Mosey. And Mosey's a really good player. He's a player that I've gotten to watch since he was a freshman in high school. He's going to be a weapon in that Nebraska offense. Yes, he's very talented, and there's a reason he had 40-plus scholarship offers. But Emmett Jones has such a talent-rich group of dudes in the 2025 class that typically you would see a guy like this that had a strong relationship with OU in the past, and there was reason to believe that he would ultimately commit to the Sooners. You'd look at a guy like that making a decision in favor of another school, and there would be folks kind of slapping their knees over it on social media. No such thing today.
Yeah, I'm just under the impression, and I feel like I'm probably going to be proven right on this, that as long as Emmett Jones is the wide receivers coach at OU, or really at whatever his title is, any capacity at Oklahoma, the wide receiver position, if it's not the best position group on a year-in, year-out basis in a recruiting class, it's certainly going to be one of the best. I don't think Emmett Jones is ever going to have a bad class at OU. There might be some years where they take more wide receivers than they do others, but the fact that he can pivot so quickly like he's done a few times and end up with the top 100 player and really, go get a guy that a lot of people a couple of months ago didn't foresee OU getting. I mean, he's got some special abilities on the recruiting trail, and I think that he's really built some depth at wide receiver as well. So and there's probably more positions than just these two, but just to kind of highlight it, I'm never really going to worry about what Emmett Jones does on the recruiting trail, and I don't think that I'm really ever going to worry what Brandon Hall does on the recruiting trail as well, just based on what we've seen to this point.
Yeah, I think there are plenty of things at the University of Oklahoma that, given what the program has established historically and what this staff is actively doing, that you just don't really have to sweat. One being, if we're talking about on-field action, you never really have to worry about the prolific nature of the Oklahoma offense. Right? Oklahoma's been an offensive juggernaut almost without exception for the last 25 years. Regardless of who's calling the plays, regardless of who's taking the snaps, you kind of always trust that Oklahoma is going to play top-level offense. And on the recruiting trail, as you start to get more and more familiar with these assistants, their sway, their reputation, the nature of who they are as recruiters, two guys that, as you mentioned, you just don't really worry about what they're going to do on the trail, are certainly Brandon Hall and Emmett Jones. And I think Jay Valai kind of belongs in that same conversation as well.
Yeah. Greg from Blanchard says, did I hear Brandon Drum last hour say that Peyton Bowen is running with the ones ahead of Robert Spears Jennings in practice? That must be a real battle and tough coaching decision. Thank you.
Yeah, that's interesting to me because Billy Bowman and Peyton Bowen play the same position. Like, what that tells you, if Peyton Bowen's running with the ones over Robert Spears Jennings, is that Brent Venables is more than comfortable putting him literally anywhere on the defensive side of the ball. Because my thought was kind of that Billy Bowman was going to hold down that strong safety spot. You'd have Robert Spears Jennings at the free, and Peyton Bowen would be playing a lot of strong safety, and that he'd be playing quite a bit of cheetah too. But that tells you right there that Peyton Bowen, like, we all know he's really good. That tells you he might be even better than we're all counting on him being.
Yeah. Ron and Alito, of the 2025 receiver commits, is there one that has the physical traits and skill sets that Jaden Gibson has? Let's see. You got Elijah Thomas, who's like 6'1", 183. Cortez Mills is just over 6 foot. Marcus Harris, just over 6 foot. Like, that body type, do they have that guy in this class? Grayson Harris is 5'10". I mean, I guess Manny Choice would be the closest,
Choice
right?
is the big body guy.
Yeah.
Manny Choice is, 6'4", in excess of 200 pounds. He is the size guy.
Well, by the way, Ron Alito, thank you for getting on the subject of Jaden Gibson, because I had this down anyway. You know, we've been talking all week, and hopefully he's not out for the year, and hopefully there's a situation where Jaden Gibson can get back at some point this year. I don't know if there's a super optimistic feeling that that's going to be the case, but we've thrown out a lot of names for wide receiver number 3 behind both Burks and Nick Anderson. Farouk, obviously, Andrell Anthony if he's back, Brennan Thompson, Zion Reagans. I don't know if this is a forgotten about name. Maybe I'm surprised a little bit that this name hasn't been brought up more, but why aren't we talking more about Pettaway and the impact that he could have? Not that he and Jaden Gibson are exactly alike in terms of what they look like physically, but this was a guy that was very, very highly recruited, and he played a bit last year, not a ton. I don't think that this is some sort of a make-or-break year for Pettaway. I'm just interested that we haven't heard or talked about his name as much as some of the other wide receivers that are in that competition.
Yeah, and I think that is largely because there is nothing about Pettaway. Well, and this sounds wrong, but this sounds bad. It sounds like I'm taking a swipe at him. I'm not. But in the eyes of the casual fan, there's nothing about Pettaway that distinguishes him from the rest of the crop at wide receiver, right? He hasn't had outstanding production yet at Oklahoma. He doesn't have tremendous size. For instance, Jaden Gibson's size is what tantalized so many people when he signed. That guy gives you immediate value in a 50-50 jump ball type of scenario. He can be a mismatch. Nor does he have exceptional speed. He's got a lot of it. He's really, really fast. Don't get that twisted. But he doesn't have Brennan Thompson, Zion Reagan speed. So I think it's natural that a guy like Pettaway, who hasn't really produced yet at Oklahoma and that doesn't have one outstanding superlative attribute, wouldn't be picking up a ton of buzz. But I do think he is the one guy in that receiver room, Tyler, that could end up producing a lot more than most anybody anticipates right now, because he is a very complete receiver. No, he's not a speed merchant like Thompson or Reagans necessarily. And no, he's not going to go and win in contested catch situations as frequently as Jaden Gibson or Nick Anderson or Andrell Anthony might. But especially in the intermediate game, man, you get the ball in his hands. I think the guy that he's probably most comparable to is Jalil Farouk. There was some question as to whether Jalil Farouk was going to come back last December before he played in the bowl game and then announced that he was coming back for his senior year. If Jalil Farouk is out the door, Jacquez Pettaway is probably getting talked up a whole lot more, because that is the phenotype that he fits best. But he's kind of, at least for now, I think going to play second fiddle to Farouk in situations and in play schemes where it makes sense to utilize Farouk's skill set.
Let's get one YouTube live comment here. KREF Sports, if you haven't subscribed already. Devin says, we just got to keep moving the goalpost every time Bill Bedenbaugh doesn't land a top offensive line? How many is that now in this class? 3? Well, again, it's not over yet, Devin. I mean, it's just a thought that it's the thought that we knew all along, that Texas is, really in kind of a desperate situation, if you want to call it that, and they're going to offer a lot of money to Michael Fasusi. And I think that OU would still be very competitive, but we got 12 days. It's not over yet. And if they don't get Fasusi, they can still get Babalola. And
I don't know how many times I have to say it, Tyler. Bill Bedenbaugh does not sign the checks. It sounds, and it's going to be hard for some people to hear this, because it makes it seem like Bill is absolutely without fault if Oklahoma doesn't land a big-time offensive lineman. But that's really kind of how it is. If a 5-star offensive tackle chooses Oklahoma these days, he's choosing Oklahoma because of the opportunity to play for Bill Bedenbaugh and get developed for the NFL. And if a 5-star offensive tackle, like Fasusi, for instance, chooses a school like Texas over Oklahoma, there quite literally is not anything that Bedenbaugh can do in that circumstance, Tyler, because I think we all know why Fasusi would be choosing Texas, and it is a reason over which Bill Bedenbaugh has absolutely no jurisdiction.
Yeah. All right, 405-651-3439, Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. We'll hit the big news of the week at OU training camp coming up next, and Michigan's just trolling everyone. Oh boy, is Michigan going to troll everyone early on this season. We'll tell you what that's about as well, right here on The Ref.
A true Sooner fan wouldn't be caught dead without the KREF app. Join the Army. Get the app. Tell your friends. This is The Ref, where diehard Sooner fans listen.
Hey Sooner fans, get your kids into the game and behind the scenes by joining Sooner Kids Club today. Members get free admission to over 70 sporting events, discounted tickets to additional games, locker room tours, high-five lines, and other VIP experiences all year long. Plus, Sooner Kids Club members receive a replica football jersey, bucket hat, and other cool Sooners gear. Visit Soonersports.com/Kids Club to learn more and to join the official Kids Club of OU Athletics today.
The Gimme Zone is back in 2024. Join Golf Digest panelist Brian Vineyard and myself, Josh Elmer, every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 a.m. as we break down and dissect everything in the world of golf right here on the Ref and the KREF app. Hear from great guests and from the game's biggest stars as we spend every moving day with you. From February at Pebble Beach through the majors to the Tour Championship in September, the number one choice for golf coverage in the state of Oklahoma, it's right here on the Ref.
Entrepreneurs and More Norman in South Oklahoma City have an experienced business partner in their neighborhood. More Norman Technology Center's workforce and economic development team understands the challenges entrepreneurs and small businesses face every day. From building an effective business model to hiring the right employees and managing cash flow, More Norman's business development experts can help you move forward confidently and thrive, knowing that you have a skilled partner at your side. Learn more about More Norman's Technology Center by calling 405-801-5000 or visit us online at mntc.edu. Belmar Golf Club offers a whole new world of recreation and excitement. Our Junior Olympic-sized swimming pool offers a family-friendly atmosphere with poolside food and beverages perfect for all types of summer pool parties. In addition to the best golf course in Oklahoma, Belmar is also a great place to hold corporate and fundraising events, as well as magnificent and memorable wedding ceremonies. Call 405-364-0111 or stop by 1025 East Indian Hills Road and check out our first-class facilities and exceptional service.
Every moment counts if you're at risk or living with lung cancer. And anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. It causes more cancer deaths than breast, colon, and prostate combined. And while there may be moments where you question your next step, through it all, Go-To for Lung Cancer is here for you. We are your community. For screening, treatment, and survivorship support, Go-To is your go-to. Confronting lung cancer starts here. Visit goto.org.
Have you or someone you know suffered a loss to your home or business from the recent storms? Before you accept a settlement, call Brown O'Haver at 405-735-5510. Brown O'Haver is a local-based company helping Oklahomans with claims since 1988 with preparation and expert analysis detailing your loss and insurance settlement. As your trusted consultant, Brown O'Haver can give you peace of mind and make sure you're getting what's yours. Call Brown O'Haver today, 405-735-5510, and make sure they're working for you.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change, called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. She wasn't even really sure where she was at.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it. I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, we'll figure it out.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
After a shaky start to the 2022-23 season for OU basketball, they defeated the number one ranked Crimson Tide 93-69 in the Big 12 SEC Challenge in Norman. Grant Sherfield was the leading scorer with 30 points. The Sooners demolished Alabama in front of a jam-packed crowd in the LNC, which resulted in a court storm.
Yeah, that was an awesome day. That was an awesome day. I did a pregame show that day at the Mont, so may or may not have had some queso and a couple swirls before heading over to the LNC, and then OU didn't miss that day against Alabama. That was
Boy.
fun. Court storming and everything. Yes, that's Porter Moser's biggest win. Is there anything even close to that?
No, there's not. I remember watching that game going, okay, like, when is Alabama going to claw back into it? Like, when is the avalanche going to come? Because obviously this is not going to last, right? And time just kept passing, and Oklahoma just kept hitting shots, and you look up, and there's 3 minutes left, and Oklahoma's still up by 20. Man, what an afternoon that was. And I think they had a bunch of football recruits on campus that day, so they all got to storm the court too, which was a nice touch.
I think that's right. Look at that. SEC ready. Porter Moser's biggest win so far of his OU career is against an SEC team, a top 3 SEC team at that, Alabama. And then what did they play? Oklahoma State a week or so later at home and kind of laid an egg in front of a full crowd again. Is that? Yeah, that's
by the end of the season, we were all wondering, like, where was that team that just throttled the number 1 team in the country on their home floor? Because I think didn't they finish with a losing record? I think they finished with a losing record.
I know they didn't make the NCAA tournament.
Correct.
So maybe they did.
By the way, can I indulge you in some comedy?
Please, yes. I mean, the comedy right now is me watching people fight over Bill Bedenbaugh and offensive line recruiting on the YouTube Live comments, but yes, go ahead.
I think there are plenty of Sooner fans out there that will always have a special place in their heart for Caleb Williams, if only for the legendary comeback that he orchestrated on October 9th, 2021 at the Cotton Bowl. However, there is a lot about Caleb Williams that people like to poke fun at. The painted nails, he was apparently carrying a purse on Hard Knocks. I read this tweet, and I'm just astonished. Listen to this. Breaking. Bears rookie QB Caleb Williams is now on Tom Brady's TB12 diet. He can no longer eat, wait for it, milk, cheese, yogurt, or ice cream, beers, wine, or any alcoholic beverages, bacon, sausages, deli meats, red meat, bread, pasta, cereal, baked goods, prepackaged snacks, chips, cookies, white sugar, high fructose corn syrup, refined sugars, cakes, pastries, candies, wheat, rye, barley, tomatoes, eggplants, peppers, potatoes, beans, lentils, chickpeas, soy products, canola oil, soybean oil, refined vegetable oils, trans fats and hydrogenated oils, coffee, caffeinated teas and energy drinks, packaged fruit juices and certain fruits, table salt, MSG. I get to the end of the tweet and I'm like, what can Caleb Williams eat? What is this guy eating?
I mean, you list the first 10 things. I'm like, well, that's my entire diet. I don't know what else there is in the world there.
Could I survive on this diet?
Well,
what could I eat if not these things? Like dark green leafy vegetables?
I think that's the point, because we heard the story a few months ago that Tom Brady would not eat chicken wings. He would just get a sniff. He'd smell the chicken wings there, and then he'd walk away. Like, what a psycho, man. Just like, have a chicken wing. Are you serious? So maybe you don't actually eat. You just smell all the delicious food, and then you just, hold yourself back. And that's no, thank you.
Caleb Williams is having broccoli and fish 3 meals a day. That's what we've concluded here.
Can he eat fish? I mean, he can't eat fried fish. How will the fish have to be prepared for him to eat it?
We have also learned, Tyler, that neither you nor I, nor basically anyone listening to this show, is cut out, apparently, at least as far as diet is concerned, to win 7 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah, I'm a lot more closer to the Gunny diet than I am the Tom Brady diet. I'll tell you that much. I don't partake like Gunny does, but probably his daily eating habits. I'm a lot closer to that than Tom Brady.
Great point from Gunny on the text line. It would have been easier to post what he could eat.
Yeah, seriously. Jeez. Dang, hype. Is he about to get David Sanders? The number 1 offensive lineman, number 2 overall player in the 25 class. He already got the number 1 player for 2026. He already got Nico a couple of years ago. Tennessee about to get David Sanders. Could I just see I think I saw today a new prediction logged in for him.
Listen, we forget it at times, but Tennessee has money.
They got a big collective, man.
They flex it selectively, but when they do, they can make a splash. And that would be a splash if they're able to beat out Nebraska, of all teams, for David Sanders.
So here's a troll, and I actually think that this is funny. But, the NCAA, threw down the punishment to Jim Harbaugh that is not going to matter whatsoever, 4-year show cause, whatever. Did you see that Jim Harbaugh will serve as an honorary captain for Michigan's season opener this year? Oh, my gosh. That is amazing.
What, he's just going to flip off any NCAA officials that he happens to encounter while at the big house?
I mean, that's actually pretty good. Jim Harbaugh will serve as an honorary captain for Michigan's season opener. They don't care one bit about the NCAA, just like the rest of us. Whatever. He left us, but he won the national championship, so he's a captain in his first game that he's not the head coach at Michigan in quite some time. So what's really been the story this week of training camp for OU? Because I view this team as one where the defense is going to be the better side of the ball. Has it been a week where the defense has dominated, or has it been a week where, hey, man, the offense has its moments, but the defense will have its moments as well? I would hope to hear that it's pretty balanced, but has this been a week and a camp thus far that's just been totally dominated by the defense?
What do you think I'm going to say, Tyler? What do you think I'm going to say? Exactly.
Each side's had their moments.
Because let's be honest here. Obviously, I'm not watching practice with my own two eyes. Obviously, no one in the media, at least in the state of Oklahoma, is watching practice with their own two eyes. So you're really just piecing stuff together from sources within the program, sources with access to practice. And what are all those people going to say, Tyler? The word is never going to be, boy, that defense looks like it sucks. The offense is tearing them to shreds. Or, oh, man, they can't move the football. Major red flags with that O-line. No, it's always going to be, there's been some give and take. Offense wins some, defense wins some. Whether that's true or not, Tyler, I don't know what the level of truth to that actually is, but we're all going to find out here in 3 weeks. Talk is cheap. Football starts very soon. We'll get the chance to see it with our own two eyes.
21 days from today, 3 more Fridays. 21 days from right now, we'll be in our pregame coverage of OU and Temple. Man, it's almost here. And 2 weeks from tomorrow, we get the first college football game of the season when Florida State and Georgia Tech square off there in Dublin, Ireland. All right, final segment of Locked In is coming up next. We'll get to more text. More training camp, more recruiting as well. One final time, we'll do it right here on Locked In, live on the Ref.
Bleed Crimson? Love great Sooner talk? Join the Ref Army by downloading our free app. Toby and TJ, Plank and Josh, Steelman and Thune, and Teddy and Tyler. We have the Sooner experts. The Ref is home to Sooner fans worldwide.
Hey Jeff, have I told you about the nightmare Jessica had at that big city dealership?
Oh boy, I can only imagine.
It was like something out of a bad movie.
Really? What happened?
Well, she found this amazing deal on a Blazer online at one of those dealerships.
Oh yeah, flashy with all the promises.
Mm-hmm, exactly. She was so excited, but when she got there, they hit her with the old bait and switch.
I've been hearing that a bunch lately.
They told her the car she wanted wasn't there, but guess what? It was. They just wanted to sell it for more than the online price. Then they tried to push a completely different vehicle.
Well, tell her to just come out here and see us at Knippelmeyer.
That's what I told her. She said she would, and she wouldn't go anywhere else from now on.
At Knippelmeyer, we don't play games. Our prices are up front, no gimmicks, just good honest deals like we've done for over 60 years. So don't make the same mistake Jessica did. For your next vehicle, come see us in Blanchard, give us a call at 405-485-3333, or check us out on the web at knippelmeyer.com. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
There's strength in family, and there's strength in partnership. Hi, I'm Adam Hurst with Armstrong Bank, where we believe in building financial stability and enduring relationships. As a family-owned community bank since 1909, we'll always be here to support you because we know that true strength is in our communities. Armstrong Bank, strength runs in our family. Visit armstrong.bank, member FDIC.
Now that open enrollment for healthcare coverage has ended, there's still several options to consider that just might benefit you. Need to purchase your own health insurance? Confused about Medicare? Considering offering benefits to your employees? Call the agents at Allison Insurance, featuring 70-plus years of combined insurance business experience. They're able to help clients avoid mistakes when purchasing individual or group health insurance. Call Allison Insurance at 800-580-5587 or 745-2968. They are the experts.
Would you like to play a more active role in your health? At Hightower Clinical, we believe all Oklahomans should have access to new potential treatment options through clinical trial participation. Our team wants to support you with the best care possible through clinical trials. No health insurance is required. Compensation is available for eligible study participants, and study care is provided at no cost.
Having the chance to go through a trial and find out if something works for them and makes their life easier, I would recommend them do it.
To learn more, scan this QR code and visit our website.
Do you like to stand out in a crowd while wearing the best in OU apparel? The Jimmy Austin Pro Shop carries the best brands you can wear to work or even dress up events. Lines such as Lululemon, Travis Mathew, FootJoy, Greg Norman, Grayson, or Turtleson with the OU and Jimmy Austin logo are sure to catch everyone's eye. You don't have to be a golfer to shop at Jimmy Austin. They also do corporate special orders for you and your company. Call them today, 405-325-6716, or visit theougolfclub.com for more information.
I'm Gina Mitchell of Mitchell's Jewelry. Our cases are filled with new lines and new looks for game day. Our University of Oklahoma collection comes in gold and silver and can be purchased in-store or online. Plus, we have the most beautiful rubies and garnets to layer on for a look that's all your own. Come see us and get ready for some Sooner magic. Mitchell's Jewelry at 2201 West Main Street in the heart of Norman, or shop us online at mitchells-jewelry.com.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
As Oklahoma grows, we want to grow with it, and serving part-time in the Oklahoma Army National Guard is perfect for that. Our service provides money for school, so we can be ready for a new career or improve our current one. We learn valuable teamwork skills and get hands-on with some of the latest tech. And we also help the communities we live in recover whenever they are in need. Our service is helping to keep Oklahoma and ourselves moving forward. Learn more at nationalguard.com/OK.
Sponsored by the Oklahoma Army National Guard. Aired by the Oklahoma Association of Broadcasters and this station.
How do you give hope to a child in the foster care system? It starts with your heart. That tug you feel on yours when you hear that children are waiting for a stable, loving voice to speak up for their best interests. And then it becomes your time. What started out as a feeling that maybe you could make a difference becomes the difference. Change a child's story. There is a child waiting for a volunteer like you.
Contact South Central CASA at 405-360-5295.
Dorsey Jones, Buick GMC in El Reno, bringing this hour of Locked In with McComas and Thune. Dorsey Jones, great selection, great pricing as well. Half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Go see them in El Reno. Dorsey Jones, Buick GMC. I'm at the Young Family Athletic Center today, right here in Norman, and I'm looking at a list via On3 of predicting the big quarterback battles going on right now in college football, who eventually is going to win those battles. The first team listed is OU's first SEC road game, the Auburn Tigers. Peyton Thorne, I've kind of thought all along, and I think the Auburn media has thought that it's going to be Peyton Thorne. On3 is predicting Peyton Thorne. But Auburn was last in the SEC in passing yards last year with Peyton Thorne. So there's a thought if he struggles early on, one of the youngsters could get a look. Auburn really needs Peyton Thorne to be a guy. They need a couple of those 5-star wide receivers to really pan out in year one. Like, we keep hearing how tough of an atmosphere that Jordan-Hare is. And I'm sure it'll be loud, but there's not a lot for Auburn for me, Parker. And not that OU's been some great road team the past couple of years. They got to get better in that aspect. But I just don't look at Auburn's roster, and there's just a whole lot of pieces there that really frighten me as to what that could do to OU there in their second SEC game.
I'll tell you, though, Tyler, and you kind of touched on it, they do have a ton of talent at the wide receiver position. That is a pretty solid core of receivers, guys who can go get the ball, guys that can make plays with the ball in their hands. I think Auburn's got a really, really good receiver room, all things considered. Issue is somebody's got to get him the football. Is that Peyton Thorne? Is it somebody else on the depth chart? Is Peyton Thorne capable of doing what he needs to do in order for that Auburn offense to function at its max level of competence? I don't know. That's kind of the big question. I think a lot of Auburn's success or lack thereof in 2024 is riding on what kind of play you get from Peyton Thorne at the QB spot.
Boise, I guess Boise has a quarterback battle going on involving former OU quarterback commits Malachi Nelson, and they are not predicting Malachi Nelson to be the starter when Boise opens up his season.
Wait, what?
Wow. Maddox Madsen is predicted to beat out Malachi Nelson for the starting quarterback job this year.
I'm at a loss for words, Tyler, because first off, I don't even know who Maddox Madsen is. I don't know where he's
Mark
from.
Madsen's son. No idea.
Like, if Malachi Nelson can't win the starting quarterback job at Boise State, when literally the only reason you transfer to Boise State as a former 5-star recruit 1 year removed from signing out of high school is to be the immediate starter, it already feels like OU dodged a bullet by avoiding the whole Malachi Nelson fiasco. But that feeling is going to be multiplied tenfold if Malachi Nelson can't crack Boise's starting lineup come week 1.
Nebraska is Heinrich Harburg, who played last year, and Dylan Raiola. They predict Dylan Raiola.
Okay, good.
The prodigal son will be the starting quarterback.
Good, because there's no way anybody but Dylan Raiola is going to start for Nebraska. Now, I almost think it might be wiser to start someone else like Harburg to start the year just to kind of underscore the reality that everybody else in that quarterback room sucks. Now, they do have Danny Kalin, another freshman who I think has some talent and has a promising future. But I almost think it might be a better move, especially with how much of a pressure cooker that Nebraska job is, to just throw Harburg to the Wolves and let him flounder for 3 or 4 weeks and then bring Dylan Raiola in, because then regardless of how Raiola plays for the final 2/3 of the season, it feels like you've upgraded from Heinrich Harburg. Whereas with Raiola presumably being the week 1 starter, all the pressure is on him right from the jump. And look, I think he's capable of living up to it. Whether he does or not remains to be seen. But there's going to be a lot more pressure on Dylan Raiola if he's starting week 1 than if he's starting, say, week 5.
Ronnie from Denton, back to Bill Bedenbaugh. The abundance of all-pro NFL linemen OU has produced under Bill, I don't remember any of them being 5 stars.
And none of them were.
And maybe this text that we got was you and I earlier this week, but it was a really good point. Trent Williams is a Hall of Famer. First ballot, no doubt about it.
Yep.
Lane Johnson is well on his way to being a Hall of Famer, and Creed Humphrey could start racking up some first-team All-Pro selections now that Kelsey is out of the league. Like, is there a chance that OU in the league right now has 3 future Hall of Famers? I mean, it's not crazy to say. I think it's very, very possible that could be the case.
Yeah.
I know not all of those are Bill Bedenbaugh guys, but they're OU guys.
And it's still very, very early with Creed. But generally, when you see a guy dominating on the offensive line early in his career to the level that Creed is dominating, they are not as easily going to see their level of play tail off. And so, yes, it feels kind of premature to be having that conversation and throwing Creed into that mix, but I don't think it's as far-fetched as it might seem on paper.
5-star Randy, if they chunk batteries at Parker, then that's a tough stadium. Mizzou seems like a place that would chunk batteries. LSU sounds like a place that would chunk empty liquor bottles. Neither of those sound fun, by the way.
Great text from Lost City Sooner. My litmus test for linemen is if they can throw Texas D lineman punks around.
Boy, you're a big fan of that 2018 offensive line then, huh, Lost City Sooner? Because that's exactly what they did. Every single one of them threw that Texas D-line punk around during that game. One of the finer moments for an OU offensive line ever is what they did in that game. And then Walter Rouse was pretty good in the game-winning play against Texas last year as well. All right, the Rush is coming up next. Keep it locked on the Ref. More football ahead right here on the home of Sooner fans.
Football. You love it. We love it. You live it. We live it. You need it. We got it. Nobody covers college football better. The Rush.
Right here on the Ref Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the home of Sooner fans, KREF, Norman, Oklahoma, and streaming live on the KREF app.
The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Hey everybody, Toby Rowland here, and make sure you circle August 30th on the calendar. Not